pleasure to speak to you both.
Thank you.
Absolutely love these characters because they're very LA in so many ways. It makes me kind of just giggle too.
Yeah.
That is true. They are very LA.
Yeah, and you know, with Margot, she's almost a realtor, but for relationships. Like whatever relationship she needs,
Yes,
she's gonna place
broker
these
it.
things. She's gonna broker it too.
Yes.
So, how did you kind of see her?
I see her always angling. You know, I often say like she's a. There are some people who are you first, like go ahead, and she's a me first person. So she's always putting herself before anybody else's needs, and she's making sure she gets what she wants at all times.
And like you saying, this being like a very LA thing, like, you know, an LA thing is like, you know, supposedly like, you know, if you and I are talking, I'm like, like looking over your shoulder, like, over there, like who's coming in.
Right.
And like, Linda would actually be doing that in scenes, which is very like, I was like, what the?
Because I hate when people do that to me.
I'm trying to talk to my wife here, and she's looking over my shoulder. Yeah,
Right.
She's looking for what else is going to come her
Yeah.
way.
Right. Well, it's also the dreaded like lovemaking scene or lovemaking when someone else is trying to look at their text and are coming at the same
Or
time.
just looking at themselves in the mirror and on the other side.
Well, narcissism we can get.
Yeah,
We can get
yeah,
that. At least someone's having fun in this part of it.
I also think due to like social media and like the Real Housewives show, it's not just LA now. This has like become a universal for our country kind of idea.
With JD, he is he's a little bit of the beta in the relationship. He's got to deal with a bunch of things that he wants and ways to kind of keep things around, keep the relationship going as well too. So how did you kind of find him as a character who, you know, wants all these things that are kind of slipping out of his fingers?
Well, I mean, just kind of the idea that playing like out of work, you know, soap opera star, just that description right there, I could kind of hang my hat on as an actor. And then, you know, I really, you know, Linda and the way she played Margot and just how she looked and how she sounded and how she was in scenes. I mean, I was able to, it gave me relief thinking like, okay, I almost don't even have to worry about how I play this just because she's such a force of nature and the engine that drives every scene that it enabled me to play even more of a kind of down on his luck guy where, you know, where I just feel like sometimes you'll get worried if you're playing someone who's supposed to be quiet or thoughtful. It's great to do that, but still you want a scene to be dynamic. So you don't want a scene to be boring. So I was playing this guy that's kind of, you know, depressed. So I was able to, because of how Linda performs and how funny and smart she was in scenes, I was able to just kind of relax and play a guy that was like down and lost and confused. So that was kind of my take on it.
That's awesome.
Thank
Well, you know, I do want to ask, you know, it kind of as a theme question here, you know, is there anything when you guys have been looking for a place or a reason why you didn't choose a place, or specific rules maybe, or they're like this feels haunted, or like there's carpet in the bathroom? I mean, there's all these weird things that people are like, no, that's it. No, I'm not automatically. Ray said, you know, he was across from. He almost got a place across from the hospital where his kids were born. He's all, but people die there too, so I don't know. Like, so it's like, do you guys have any specific things you've ever done where you kind of didn't choose a place, or maybe a reason you chose a place too?
I've walked in a few hotel rooms. You know, as an actor, you're always checking into motels and hotels. I've walked into a few places where I'm like, I mean, I'm not superstitious or like a ghost guy, but I'll be like, I ain't staying here for the night. I'll sleep in my rental car, but I'm not staying in here. I've had that happen with hotel rooms, not really houses.
I think there's a vibe. I think a house does have a vibe, and I think that's one of the things that Poppy says, and his house kind of has a dark vibe. But I do think when you walk into somewhere, there's something about either the way the light comes in, or, you know, there is a feel that you get walking into a house. So I think maybe if the house is sort of too dark and not enough light in it, it's a little depressing for me. So I always go to something that has less the light in.
Like I come from Dallas, Texas, which is known for these long ranch-style houses. You walk in and it's like midnight, you know. So I just remember friends' houses where it's like, "Hello, are you home?" But yeah, just like light is a very
or a smell. If a house has a smell,
yes,
that's tough. You have to like
That's awesome. Well, I have to let you go up here, but I want to say an absolute pleasure speaking to you both.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
looking forward to talking about this with everyone as well. It's just so much fun too, and being an adult, like finding out, it's also when you have a relationship, you can make up those little things about places you've been. You're like, there's something wrong with those people.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what they're doing in that
Yeah,
house,
yeah.
or the neighbors you never know.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is the
Yeah.
older you get, you start to realize. The neighbor who's your best friend is probably dark or weird or a
Yeah.
swinger
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. Or
There's-
like when you see somebody at like a report and they're like, well, he was a quiet neighbor, and he's like
He
some
was a nice
crazy
guy.
person.
And that there's still those Boo Radley characters.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that you never see outside their house.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I got to make sure I still hang around people who know who Boo Radley was. That's
Yeah,
the key
exactly,
too. So,
exactly.
a pleasure. Hope everyone in your world is happy and healthy.
Thank
See
you.
ya, thank